Hey everyone, it's Brandon with Electric Marketing, and today I'm going to walk you through the Attentive platform as well as show you some real live examples that we're currently running with a few of our clients. So let's jump into it. First, we're going to start with the home dashboard within the Attentive account. There's not a whole lot to note here other than the fact that you can see some performance metrics on the right-hand side, and there also will be some suggestions on how you can get started with Attentive and a link out to the blog. So I'm not going to spend too much time here. Let's go ahead and jump into subscribers. So within your subscribers tab, this is where you're going to build your sign-up units, both desktop, mobile, as well as landing page sign-up units. So first, I'll show you an example of all three. This is what a landing page sign-up unit is going to look like. You can customize the styling, you can add in an image, you can decide whether or not you want people to enter their birthday or not. You could just get phone number. You could also say we want to get email and we want to get phone number. There's a bunch of customization you can do here, but typically where we're using a landing page is if we are sending out an email campaign to non-SMS subscribers, prompting them to opt into SMS. So we'll send them to a landing page like this that has some sort of an offer, incentivizing them to join the SMS list. And then you can also do things like Instagram story swipe up links that will go to a landing page like this, but instead, they'll redirect to a text to opt-in, where it'll just show the pre-populated message in the visitor's mobile phone, and they press send, and they'll automatically get opted into SMS marketing. The last really good use case for this is in your post-purchase flows in Klaviyo. So if you have somebody place an order and you do a conditional split, basically looking to see if they are or are not subscribed to SMS marketing, for those who are not, you can hit them with a bounce back offer automatically to a landing page like this to get them opted into SMS, but also to get them to come back and make that second purchase. So those are the landing page unit signups. Next, let's go and look at a desktop unit signup. So this is the one we're running on Florence by Mills website, and we're actually asking for their birthday because we have a special sort of flow set up for birthdays within Attentive, but you don't have to ask for birthday. Typically, your standard is just going to be email as the first screen, phone number as the second, and then some sort of call to action. So let's go ahead and enter in birthday. We'll do email. And then I'm going to go ahead and enter a phone number. I'm already subscribed, so let's pick a random phone number here. And click get free shipping now. And now it's check your text, and I'm going to go and reply Y to confirm my subscription. So that's what the desktop sign-up unit looks like. For mobile, I'm going to show you the one we currently do with IME. This, again, is a two-step opt-in process, but it's different. And the reason why I'm showing you it in this preview mode here with Google's development tools is that we want to use the tap to subscribe functionality on mobile. So you're going to see here that it's not even giving me anywhere to put my phone number. It's just a CTA that says enter to win when you sign up for emails and text. So on a mobile device, if I were to click this, it's going to pop open my text message thread with the language pre-populated to our shortcode. And as soon as I press send, it's going to opt me into SMS marketing. So completely different sort of workflow there because it's such a seamless process. We sometimes don't even ask for email on mobile devices because the ability to just tap the CTA, press send, and then immediately get sent the offer right within the same text thread is very high converting versus having to enter in your email, go to your email inbox, find the offer, click through on the offer. There's just so many additional steps. We'd rather streamline the process for our visitors and also prioritize SMS, which is a higher converting channel than email. So let's talk about how you actually build the sign-up units. I'm going to hop back into the subscribers tab in Attentive here, and we're going to click on create sign-up flow. And this is where you're going to see all of your options. So you can do mobile, both full screen, partial, and spin to win. You can also do desktop, full screen, partial, and spin to win. And this is also where you'll build your landing page. So I'm not going to go through each one of these because the way you build each one is essentially the same. So we'll go ahead and do a mobile full screen. And let's click create. Now, these pop-ups are extremely customizable. You can decide from the beginning whether or not you want to show a bubble. And this bubble you've probably seen on other websites before. It's something that follows you around on every page. And on click, it'll show you the email opt-in and then the SMS opt-in, which is this bubble here. For the bubble, you can decide whether or not you want to always display the bubble, or when a visitor first enters, don't show the bubble and just immediately have the sign up screen unit pop up. And then if they exit out, then the bubble will follow along on each subsequent page. Personally, my preference is to expand on the first page and then have the bubble follow around thereafter. And you can change the copy as well. So let's say, I don't know, say test. Let's make it size 3. Not that we would ever do this. And we're just going to change the color to red. And then we're going to make the positioning. We want it in the top right corner. We want it 36 pixels apart from both sides. So very customizable in terms of where you want the actual sign-up unit to be for that particular customer experience. And then you can also even upload an image if you want to. So let's say we wanted to add in some sort of a image, like a logo is typically what we're doing here. See if I can find a logo. Then this logo can show up in the actual email and SMS sign-up process. And if you want, you can upload custom fonts as well. So this is where we'll go ahead and upload those custom fonts. You can search Google Fonts, or if you want your own, you just click on Upload, and you're going to upload your own font file. And then Attentive is able to ingest that and render it on the page here. So that's the first screen. Then you can actually customize the email portion of it as well. So you can decide to change the messaging on any of these. You can change email address. You can change the color. You can make the border bigger if you want to. As you can see, make a crazy border here, 15 pixels. And then the same for the SMS screen. Now, since it's mobile, you're going to see it's that tap to subscribe, so there's not going to be actually a place to enter your phone number. And really the only other thing to note here is that if you want, you can also have a background image. So if you wanted to do a background image, let's see, this is an old client of ours. We can drop this in here. And then you'll see the background image behind the text. Now, once we've aligned on what the design is going to be here, we're going to assign it to an offer. So these offers are set up in the tab here. I'm going to go through that in a little bit in this video, but essentially it's your welcome offer. Is it 10% off, $10 off, 30% off? Is it free shipping? Are you offering a gift with purchase? Whatever it may be. And then you're going to assign it to a welcome flow as well. So let's say Winback 10, and we're going to assign it to the free shipping welcome flow. And then you can see here, this is what the customer journey is going to look like, where the text is going to be sent, and then there's going to be the legal text message, which automatically has to go out, basically telling that person that they're subscribed to the SMS marketing program. And then this is the welcome text message that we specified in the journey that we build, which we'll touch on in a second here as well. So let's go ahead and save and continue. Now this is where we're going to set up our display rules. So we can say this will only show when the URL contains, I don't know, products. Maybe we only want this sign-up unit to show up on products, and we only want it, and we don't want to show it if the user is coming from, let's say, Facebook. And we also don't want to show it if somebody has visited the site like 5 or more times, or if the person has visited this page 3 or more times. All of these display rules can be set up within Attentive so that you're not showing offers to people that you don't want to. A good example of this is a client of ours runs Amex promotional offers, and so any visitor who's coming through one of those Amex offers, we don't want to show the welcome offer because it's just confusing messaging. We want them to be solely focused on that Amex offer and not to give them our standard welcome flow offer. Once we have that aligned, we go ahead to review, and we can activate the sign-up unit, which I'm obviously not going to do here. Now, the only other sign-up unit I want to go through is the spin to win, which is a newly released feature from Attentive. And it's a little bit different to set up. So the only nuance to this is you're probably used to creating spin to win pop-ups that are able to say 80% of people are going to get this offer, 20% are going to get this, 5% are going to get this, 3% are going to get that. With the attentive spin to win pop-up right now, you're only able to select one offer that's given to everybody. So essentially what you have to do is for the offer that you're going to select in this assignment, that is going to be the one that you choose to be the first wheel element here. So let's say we want every customer to get, or every lead to get 30% off. We're going to make element 1 the 30% off, because no matter what, when somebody spins this, it's going to land on the 30% off. There isn't a way right now in Attentive to say, oh, 70% get the 30%, 25% get something else, and 5% get the other offer. So we have to pick one and have it gamified. It's recommended that your best offer is the one that you lead with, so that you're making everyone think who spins the wheel that they got the best offer that there was. So we can go ahead and add additional elements too if we want to. Maybe we want to have a crazy one that's like 50% off. But again, no matter what you do here, element 1 is always going to be the one that is landed on and is going to be what you want to set up your welcome flow with. And the same styling functionality that you have in the other pop-ups, you also have within this unit. So that basically sums up the sign-up units. Now we're going to hop into journeys. So within your journeys, you have a couple of out-of-the-box flows that you're going to be able to set up. So if you click on Create Journey, you're going to see a back in stock, browse abandonment, cart abandonment, charge failed, and customer winback. And then there's a whole bunch of other ones depending on what sort of integrations you have. The most sort of basic and rudimentary one is the welcome flow. But I'm going to drop in the comments below all of the journeys that you should have as a Shopify brand when you're onboarding with Attentive, as well as the ones that we use with our integrations like Recharge and Malomo and Loyalty Lion that extend the features and functionality of Attentive. But let's go ahead and dive into cart abandonment flow that we have. With recent SMS updates, you're only able to send one abandonment text. So there's not a whole lot to dig into here. All you can do is essentially say your wait time, do an A/B test if you want to, and then have some sort of a call to action to go back to the cart and checkout. The same applies for your browse abandonment flow as well. Due to compliance, you can only send one browse abandonment text. Now, if you want, you can say, okay, I want to send a browse abandonment text that's different. If you look at this collection versus this other collection, that's perfectly fine. But your browse abandonment flows can only have one touch point. Let's go ahead and build an actual journey from scratch here. We're going to do a welcome new subscribers after they sign up. And this is going to be that welcome offer. And you can see here, coupon. This is what we select within the sign up unit. So when we're asked in the sign up unit process, do you want to select an offer that gets assigned to this welcome text? This is where that is automatically inserted. And then your flow starts. So you can send a contact card as well, which I would highly recommend as operating systems start to roll out inbox filtering, where you have almost a promotional tab within your SMS inbox. And then this is where you'll build your conditional logic just like you would within like the email builder in Klaviyo. So we're going to wait 24 hours. We're going to branch and see, has this person redeemed their offer at least once since starting this journey? If so, then we're going to wait another 2 days. If they've redeemed since starting this journey, then we'll end it. And so typically what we're doing is there's going to be a cascading flow for the welcome series, and you'll get taken out of it if you make a purchase, but if you don't, you're just going to continue to receive those messages. And I would highly recommend A/B testing almost all of your flows. So let me hop into one of our other welcome flows that we have here, just to give you a sense of what that would look like. So here you can see that we're going to have multiple A/B tests running. And the way that you do that is just simply by dragging in A/B test, and then it's going to ask you what sort of split you want to do. So you can just split the traffic evenly amongst variation 1 and variation 2, or you can add in variations. And you can add all the way up to 6 different variations if you wanted to. And so within this welcome flow, we're doing just simple A/B tests throughout. So for this, we have a image. For this one, we have no image. So we're testing having a GIF versus not having a GIF. And then depending on which one has the higher CTR, we'll eventually come back in here once it's statistically significant and turn off the one that was the non-performer. And you can see here that the journey is pretty extensive. But essentially all it's doing is basically every 2 or 3 days you're getting a text message if you haven't purchased yet. We've set up some sort of an A/B test associated with that text, and after about 2 weeks you'll go ahead and end the flow no matter what. Now, one really interesting use case I want to show for journeys is the ability to ingest responses from your SMS contacts. So there's a couple of use cases for this. One is within an actual flow. So this is a pretty complex customer win-back flow that we put together, which is basically asking our customers how many weeks they want us to wait before reminding them to reorder. So after 60 days, if a customer has not purchased yet, which you can see from this branch here, which says has made a purchase at least once since starting this journey, if it's true, we follow this line all the way down, it's going to take them to the end of the journey. So they're not going to go through this because they don't need a win-back flow since they've already made a purchase within that 60-day time frame. Now, if they haven't, then we're sending them a message saying, if you're anything like us, it's about time to restock on some wine. And you can see we're running an A/B test here of a GIF versus no GIF. Then we're going to wait 5 days. Again, doing that same conditional logic where if they have purchased, they're going to end the journey. And if they haven't, now we're dropping them into what I wanted to showcase here, which is that conversational response component of Attentive. So we're sending a text saying running out of wine is the worst. If you want to be reminded by us, just reply with the number for the time you'd like. So reply 1 if you want a reminder in 1 week, 2 for 2 weeks, 3 for 3 weeks, and 4 for 4 weeks. And then depending on how the customer replies, they will get bucketed down into these different branches, which you can see here based off of the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to wait 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and 4 weeks respectively. Again, we have to do the branch checking to see if they've made a purchase or not, because if they have, we don't want to send them a replenishment reminder. But if they haven't, then here you can see your 2-week reminder to restock on wine is here. Here's the code. Go ahead and shop now. But for the 3-week, it's essentially the exact same thing, but we're saying your 3-week reminder to restock on wine is here. And you'll notice that we're A/B testing for each one of these, the exact same image versus no image. So that one image versus completely text-based. One other use case for ingesting responses from a customer to inform how you communicate with them is keyword responses that you can set up via a journey. So we were running a promotion around the holiday period of 12 days of Christmas. So there's 12 days of deals that get sent out. For email, because this is not as personal of a form of communication as text, it's a little bit easier to get away with sending more emails. Whereas with text, we knew if we texted people 12 deals every day in a row, the unsubscribe rates were going to be extremely high. So we sent out a campaign in advance to all of our subscribers asking them, do you want to receive all 12 days of deals? If yes, reply with yes. If no, reply with no. And so depending on how they replied, that was then added as a custom attribute that we could then create a segment off of to send our campaigns moving forward for the month of December. So this was really valuable in terms of not only showing the customer that we cared about their communication preferences, but allowing us to be more effective with our SMS marketing spend, because for every text that we're sending out, that's costing us real money that could be saved and utilized for other channels. So those are your journeys in a nutshell. Again, I'm going to drop all the journeys below in the comments that I think any Shopify brand should have, and I'll include some of the integration ones that we build out as well that can extend the functionality of your Attentive account. But let's jump into campaigns now. So this is going to be your campaign sort of hub. This is where all of your drafts, ones that have been delivered in the past, and the ones that you have upcoming and are scheduled will be hosted. So if we want to go ahead and create a campaign here, you can choose between sending a one-time SMS message, an A/B test, or selecting a message template from one of Attentive's pre-built campaigns. I'll go ahead and do an A/B test because the SMS message one time is the exact same as the A/B test, except you're only doing one variation. So we'll go ahead and click continue. Let's say we're going to call this one Rev, which stands for, like, this one's supposed to be a revenue engaging flow. We'll say the date is going to be 2/25 and no GIF, flash sale 25% off, something like that. Then we'll choose which segment we want to send it to. Let's say hasn't made a purchase in the past 30 days, and we're going to include, I don't know, that they said that they are on Mountain Time, and we're going to exclude anyone who has purchased in the last 30 days. Now, this is obviously not a real segment, but this is how you go and, like, actually include and exclude various segments for the send. And then you can add tags as well too. So let's say this one is revenue driving. So we want to do revenue for the tag. We like to break out our campaigns into revenue informational and engagement based. So that way we know what's the goal of the campaign. If we're sending out a post or if we're sending out an email to a blog, the goal is probably not to drive a bunch of revenue. Whereas if it's a 40% off flash sale, clearly the goal there is to drive revenue. So it's important to put that in context when you're building out a campaign. Then we're going to go ahead and decide whether or not we want to use smart sending. So if we use smart sending here, there's going to be 1,800 subscribers who will not receive it because they've received a message within the last 8 hours. We can say do not use smart sending, in which case the estimated recipients just jumped up by that 1,800 number. Once this is all built, then we're going to go ahead and actually build the test itself. So we can test up to 4 variations of content. I'm going to keep it simple here and just go with 2. We can say what percentage of recipients we want to receive the test before selecting a winner. Depending on your list size, this is going to vary how many people you need to send it to. Typically, once you're around like 30,000 SMS subscribers or more, I like to stick to the 20%, but if you have a really small list, like at around 2,000, it's probably better to err on the side of caution to make sure you get a statistically significant result. And then you can select what the winning criteria is. So do we want it to be click-through rate, unsubscribe rate, conversion rate, or total revenue? For the most part, we do click-through rate. Unless you're testing offers, that is where conversion rate might come into play. But for the most part, click-through rate is the most sort of accurate representation of which text is performing best, because that's the control. Like the recipient is only able to see the text, and so how they interact with it, that's the most immediate response. Once they get on the website, there's a ton of other variables that go into it that impact whether or not they're converting. Where do they go on the site? Are they actually purchasing like a lot? Are they purchasing a little? So I prefer to look at CTR as the metric for which we gauge success of the campaigns on. And then you select how long should the test be run before the winning variation is selected. So at most we'll do 4 hours here, never going any higher, because if you do 10 hours, for example, and you send your text at 8 a.m., then people are going to be getting it at 6 p.m. And so there's factors at play there based on time of day that impact the actual performance of the test. Then we'll go ahead and actually create the variations. So for this one, we'll say this one is the one that has a GIF. And then we'll go ahead and do the test. Let's add in an image, this plus sign here. And you can choose your own file, but I'm just going to select one of Attentive's pre-built ones. And then you can go ahead and add in an emoji if you want to. Pay attention to this right down here. This is going to tell you how much this text is going to cost. So if I were to add in a bunch of copy and a bunch of text, you can see it starts to get more and more expensive as we go here, which really starts to add up. So it's important that you monitor how expensive your campaigns are, because you're going to be charged for each one of these SMS. And so this text now just became very expensive. So it's just something to be aware of when you're building out any of your campaigns. Then you're going to go ahead and add a link Google Analytics link tracking will be appended automatically. So let's say, let's add in the link, and don't forget the HTTPS like I did. And then it'll automatically create the tracking link. And then we can, if we want to, we can add in an offer as well, or a variable. So let's say the offer, this account doesn't have any offers actually, but we could create a new one where we do a discount code, and that offer will just be dropped in automatically. Now let's go ahead to variation B. This is going to be no GIF, and typically since we're just testing whether it has a GIF or not, we're going to take the exact same copy for this one. So I'll just copy and paste what was in variation A, drop it in variation B, and then update the link because the link has to be reset every single time. Now save and continue, and we're done. So 35% is the amount of test recipients that are going to get the variation A and variation B. Then a winner will be chosen after 10 hours based off of the click-through rate, and the 65% will receive whatever the winner is. Again, I wouldn't recommend 10 hours, typically 2 to 4, and depending on your list size, you'll want to play around with how many test recipients actually receive it. And I always recommend using a statistical significance calculator after the test is over to see whether or not your results were actually something that you can take some sort of like learning from and utilize it moving forward. But if you plug it into the statistical significance calculator and it tells you it's not statistically significant, then you need to go back and retest. So that is everything within campaigns. Segmentation is going to be really important because that's going to be the foundation for which campaigns you send to whom. So Attentive Segmentation Builder is pretty robust, and you can do predefined conditions to start building a dynamic segment. So if we go ahead and create this, you'll see that there's 5 that Attentive has already built out for us, or we can build our own as well. So let's say we want to look at a subscriber's activity. So we want to see anybody who has clicked a short link at least once in the last 7 days and has made a purchase 0 times in the last 7 days. Actually, we're going to make this less than 1 in the last 7 days. And maybe we want to look at, I don't know, their city is somewhere in Arizona, in Alpine. And where city can get interesting is if you have like retail presence, or if you're going to go into like a particular grocery chain somewhere and you can target people like that. You can see we're not capturing city for this brand, so the segment size is going to be 0. So let's choose a different characteristic here. Maybe let's go ahead and do operating system. So a good one for operating system is this brand actually has an app. So we need to send a different text to people who are on an iOS operating system versus those that are on an Android, because the download link is going to be different. And so we're able to do that within here as well. And then the other thing is the segment to subscribers in. So if they're in another segment, you can do that as well. And then you can see some of our other integrations are in here as well. So we can see if, let's look at Okendo review request, at least once was sent over all time. And we can filter that and say where the product name is specific value, and maybe we only want to send to people who reviewed the Vigorosi coffee or something like that. And so this is where you'll build your segments that you'll then ultimately send your campaigns to. And then the only other thing is you can connect a segment from Klaviyo. So let's go ahead and jump into integrations just to show you this setup process. So within Klaviyo, we can go ahead and go into settings, and we can say create attentive segments by using your Klaviyo list URLs. So I can go ahead and add a segment here, let's say I want to add everybody who is in, say, the replenishment flow. Subscribers in the replenishment flow. Then I'm going to go into Klaviyo. I'm just going to look at the segment that I have in Klaviyo, copy that list, drop it in here, add it as a segment, and now that's going to be a segment that I can utilize within Attentive for sending to them. Now, before I go into the rest of the integrations, we're going to go ahead and look at the Conversations tab, which typically is one that we're not using because we are utilizing the integrations for customer service. But if you're not, this is where you can go ahead and actually reply to customers. So we can see that they replied coffee from an older conversational flow that we set up. So if we wanted to text this person, maybe they asked, are you running a special today? We could say, like, yes, we are. And here's the link or something like that. Again, very rarely are we using this Conversations tab because we are using integrations such as Gorgeous, which we can pull up here. So within integrations, you're going to have a bunch of different options to connect all of your platforms, but I'll go ahead and start with customer service first. So click on Gorgeous here. All the integrations are really easy to set up. You basically just take the API key from whatever platform you're trying to integrate, and then you drop it in here, and you're on your way. The only nuance for the customer service integration is that you're going to have to select a support confirmation if you don't want a ticket to be opened up every time somebody replies to a text. This is pretty important for brands that have a large SMS list, because if you have people replying to you like OMG or this is so cool, you probably don't want to open a support ticket in your help desk because that's going to charge you money and it's going to be overwhelming for your customer service team. So we typically set up a support confirmation keyword. So customers have to reply with this particular keyword in order to open a ticket in Gorgeous for this brand, which will then allow the CS team to reply to them. And the only thing you have to make sure is that this keyword here matches up with, in your settings, so I'll just jump over to it right here. In your settings, you want to make sure underneath messages that your autoresponder includes the keyword that needs to be sent by the customer in order to create that ticket in the customer service help desk. So thank you for texting us. If you need help from our customer experience team, please respond with support and someone will get back to you. Now, if we hop back into the integrations here, go to Gorgeous, we'll see the support confirmation keyword is in fact support. So the two are paired up and we're all set to go here. Now, there's a whole host of other integrations. Typically the ones we're using are Gorgeous, Klaviyo, Okendo, Recharge, and Shopify. And then we've also started to use Superaffiliate quite a bit, Audacity as well. And then sometimes we'll utilize Loyalty Lion, and we'll also utilize Malomo for a lot of our brands as well. The customer service providers are all listed here. Almost all of them are covered. For the most part, our clients use Gorgeous, Customer, or Zendesk, and so the same setup process is for all of them, where you will select that support keyword. So we basically covered everything thus far. All that's left is offers, analytics, and settings. So let's go ahead and jump into offers. So within offers, you're going to have all of these different offers that you've set up, whether they're from Shopify or if they are shared by multiple sign-up units. But to create an offer, all you do is click Create Offer and decide whether or not you want to sync unique codes from your integration, if you want to upload a CSV list of unique codes, or if you want to send the same code to all of your subscribers. Now, if you want to do unique codes and you're on Shopify, I'm going to pull up one that we've done in the past here for the welcome code. All you're going to do is, when you're setting it up, you're going to build the discount code in Shopify. And then you're going to pull from the URL, as it shows here, copy the ID from the URL. You're going to copy that Shopify ID URL and just drop it in here as the external ID. Then you're going to put in these brackets here, RAND, to show where the auto-generated code is going to be put. So every single every single coupon code that a customer receives now is going to be hello, and then a random 6-digit number that backs out to the original coupon created in Shopify, which in this case is 15% off. And then we can also add an auto apply link, which is the functionality that Shopify has where you can pass through the discount automatically into checkout by including it within the URL that a visitor goes to the site with. And then you're done. You can assign it to as many sign-up units as you want to. You can see here we have it on multiple exit intent pop-ups, as well as the Shopify checkout checkbox. You can view all the other places that it is assigned to. Now let's go ahead and jump into analytics. Attentive has two different analytic sort of dashboards that you can work with. The first is visualizations of your performance. So we can go ahead and let's say we want to look at last year and compare it to the previous period. So we can see here that because it was ported over from a different SMS provider, 28,000 SMS subscribers came in on March 1st. And then you can see how many new ones came in on a monthly basis. Then you can also see unsubscribes, emails collected, revenue, campaign revenue, journey revenue, your messages sent, campaign messages sent, and journey messages sent, as well as the percentage breakdown between MMS, SMS, and video, as well as your billable spend. So this basically gives you a high-level overview of your performance. And it's very helpful if you're coming in here and I want to say, okay, I want to see the last 7 days. What's performance look like compared to the past period? So we can see performances up across the board in terms of subscribers. Unsubscribes are down, and the emails collected are higher as well. And then we can, when we want to like dig into things further, we typically go into the reporting section here. So there's these reports that come out of the box, like automated message performance, billable spend, campaign performance, your creative performance. So this is the sign-up units. You can look at your subscriber count changes over time, the total revenue Attentive has driven each day, and conversions attributed to your messages by day. Now, you'll see down here custom reports. And this particular brand actually doesn't even have a lot of custom reports. I'm going to jump into one that does here. You can see we have 12 different custom reports here for this particular client because we went to the Attentive team and essentially said, these are the things we want to see. Can you help us build out custom reports for this so that we can start to export them and use it in our reporting decks for our brands? Sort of the sky is the limit here. Attentive has a plethora of data available to you. You really just have to ask, and then they'll work with you to set up these custom reports that you can then use. So don't hesitate to try and get creative with what your insights and analysis are going to be. But at a high level, you really want to make sure you're monitoring net new subscriber growth, unsubscribes, as well as revenue per message sent, both for campaigns and for journeys. That'll give you a really strong sense of the health of your SMS account. If your revenue per text is 7 cents, you should stop sending text messages. But if you're getting $5 per text sent out, you should scale your program up because it's probably such a high amount because your program is in its infancy and you're not sending enough text messages. So it's really finding that fine line of where you can scale the program but also still be very profitable. And last but not least is settings. This is where you set up your virtual contact card, your basic company info, your contact image, your subheader. So this is like if you're on an iPhone, you opened up somebody's contact, you're going to see a short description that appears underneath the display name, as well as the URL, and also a company email for subscribers to access from the contact profile. Again, messages, this is where you can select your smart sending window. So the default period is 8 hours, but we could change it to 24 if we wanted to, which means any subscriber who's received a text in the last 24 hours will not receive any campaigns or journeys from you unless you go ahead and select do not use smart sending for that particular campaign. And this is also where you would do the quiet hours. So nobody will receive a text outside of these windows, as well as your autoresponder. Manually remove a subscriber. So if you have somebody who reaches out to your customer service team and says they want to be unsubscribed, but they don't know how to do it, you could drop their 10-digit mobile number in here. This is where you'll enable Google Analytics link tracking. This is where you'll build out your custom attributes. So for that 12 days of wine, that's where we did it here. And you can see we had no and yes. But let's say we wanted to do, I don't know, wine, wine type preferences. We want to do red, white, rosé, champagne. We'll create that attribute. Now we can reference this in our journeys that I had showed you in terms of like ingesting customer feedback. And then we can create segments off of this. So if somebody were to reply with champagne, now we have a segment of people who have replied with champagne, and maybe we send them special champagne offers moving forward, as opposed to promoting red wine to them. And then you can also see any of your connected apps, which for this brand, they don't have any. But if we were to hop into, let's say, this brand, you'd see some of the connected apps that are working with it. So in summary, you have your home page. This is where you're going to see high-level performance. Not too much else going on there. Subscribers tab, this is where you're going to build out like all of your sign-up units. Journeys, this is where you'll go ahead and build out welcome flow, browse abandonment, post-purchase, abandoned cart, customer winback, your integration flows as well. So you can see here we have a bunch of Malomo ones. Then campaigns, this is where you'll do your one-time campaigns and start to test and build out and basically build out like a testing cadence for different segments that you build within the segment tab. Then you have your conversations, which typically you won't use because you're going to integrate with a customer service desk and all of your responses will go into Gorgeous or some other tool. You'll also have your offers. This is where you can do dynamic codes, you can do manual uploads, or you can do a shared code across everybody. Integrations tab. This is where all of your integrations will live. Almost all of them are like 2 clicks. You just add in an API key from whatever tool it is you're trying to connect. And then there's useful help guides within all of the integrations as well. Next is analytics. You have your dashboard and you have your reports. Reports is what we use to go very deep into campaign performance, journey performance, and any specific like A/B test reporting we want to do. Whereas the dashboard is very helpful for just a high-level overview of how your account is performing. And last but not least is settings, which is all of the exciting sort of back-end stuff that has to get set up in the beginning. That's essentially it. As always, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. You can also reach out to us at electricmarketing.com or Brandon at electricmarketing.com. I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for watching.